Hey, crypto media friends, welcome to Friday, right before the big weekend, after time, overtime show, whatever we call this show, the thing that we do on the side hustle here in Los Angeles, working in media, and then doing the side hustle of exploring NFTs, metaverse, the universe, the stars with you. Just bear with me. We have a bit of a show this week that goes into a quick Akala update. I want to keep you guys on track with that because that's gonna, again, on the show we ask those questions: how you gonna make me rich? How you gonna add value to my ownership and to watching this show. So I want to give Akala again to kind of walk you through the steps. They've added quests, how best to gamify for us nerds to make things about quests so that we're staking with their project, and they're going to drop some sweet coins on us. Then we're going to talk about an interesting concept. I think it's going to be sort of one of those that no other channel can talk about to the degree that we can here. And I'm going to bring in other friends because they're doing some really interesting work at a later date. I'm sorry, I keep hustling, I keep doing this live. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell notification because I do this live because this information is so of the moment. Again, you're gonna, if you're watching this past November 11th, I'm sorry you missed out on the Akala staking and you don't get the sweet coins at the massive discount. Plus, I'm gonna show you how to get extra coins on top of the just the regular initial. So. And then talking about the first NFT mutual fund that's in PFP form, which I think is really interesting. There's other fractional ownership schemes that are in existence and certainly doing very well. And everyone talks about the SEC sort of coming in and strong arming these projects, putting pressure on open seas, and that's something we talked about before. Putting pressure on the marketplace will essentially squash those frogs, the turtles, the ones that were sort of outside the bounds and felt like rug pulls to some degree, but offered not a very sophisticated look and way of doing things that allowed them to be susceptible to that SEC type of, I wouldn't even call it the SEC pressure. It's just as an organization, you have to examine how compliant you are within the laws of the country you're doing business in, and you know the laws of the SEC. And if you see somebody breaking them, to a very large extent in front of your face in your marketplace, you have to self-regulate, and that's what everyone's a bit afraid of. But most projects are starting to figure out the ways and speaking to legal counsel about how to approach these with safety, with relative safety in their project. And so while there's a lot of concern, especially with the bears and honey, I think they've thought it through. Clearly they've spoken to really smart people. Again, they're so well connected to Kongs that they're really getting the good alpha minus, sort of drifting down to them to some degree. But I believe everyone in these PFP projects should be speaking to lawyers immediately, especially me offering DeFi components. But let's jump into quickly the Akala Quest update. So they broke it up into 5 quests. I mean, this is the thing. You create your Polkadot wallet, connect your wallet on the website, use Chrome, get your JS wallet. Even if you just go to this is Akala.network. Akala.network. This is going to walk you through. So you go to this is what's great about this organization. They know they need to onboard a lot of people. And so they are creating, these quests. You just go to one and push start. Again, I'm walking you through this, guys, because I know that this is sometimes obfuscating, a little hard to understand, but these guys are going to walk you through it, and that's why I recommend this project, because going through a previous project with them, I saw how easy they made it. It is sort of challenging to if you're new at it, and especially this concept of staking for a parachain auction. Again, just the words, kind of together are sort of novel and new in a sense, but they make a lot of sense for their system, and they're going to walk you through their system very easily in this quest style thing. So you start the JS wallet. You connect your wallet to the website. I use Chrome. I believe Brave should work as well. If you're using Brave, you probably don't even need this section of the of the talk because you're advanced in the game. You verify your email and then prepare your wallet by being a .holder. Have dot in your wallet. You gotta go buy dot. You can buy that dot on Coinbase or maybe even Gemini. I use Coinbase, and I'm sure there's other exchanges out there that you can use. And then it kind of pauses you at the contribute the dot to the crowd loan, because that's going to happen November 11th. You have 20 some days, and then claim your rewards. And so they break it down pretty simply for you, and so this is why I think getting in early on these projects. People always ask me, how do I get in early on these projects that drop free coins on you? This is the one. This is going to be a huge one. And this is also, sidebar, this is also going to put the price of DOT through the roof. DOT is already making an ascension because people are starting to understand what a parachain auction means to the ecosystem of the token. And in the ecosystem of the token, everyone's going to be staking for the next 2 years. They'll be locking up their DOT in a big way so that they can get access to this project, Moonbeam, which, Moon River was such a huge hit on the I'm like, Akala Karura? There's so many different new words in these ecosystems. But, in sort of the Karura, not Karura, it's going to come in 2 seconds. But in the sort of the little brother ecosystem, you have a Kusama ecosystem. In the Kusama ecosystem, you have, this huge hit in Moon River, and people, that's one of those where I saw people who got in early on the early stake do something like crazy, like 500x. So it's no joke getting in early on these. I don't think Akala is going to do that. So this isn't financial advice. This isn't me projecting any sort of numbers at you. You're going to do okay. You're going to do well in the fact that if you do your due diligence on the project, you're going to get rewarded with free tokens based upon the amount of investment that you put in. Gosh, we sound like securities, don't we? Investment that you put in terms of staking. And again, it's not even investment, because the thing is you're placing that, and it's slightly different because you're staking. You're putting that polka dot into a hold pattern for 2 years, and then you're going to get it back. And for allowing that to happen, you're going to get, in a sense, it's a quasi IDO of the Akala tokens, or of the Moonbeam tokens, if you prefer to try Moonbeam, because come on, Moon River was such a hit. Please do your due diligence on why Moonbeam and Moon River did so well, because they are essentially the bridge to Ethereum from the Polkadot network, and so they're going to take a vig on anything that goes back and forth between them, and should ostensibly be fairly interchangeable at the end of the day. That's what Polkadot is meant to be. Okay, and side note, now going into rights media. So CAA, you guys have seen this article probably. I want to give you guys more insight to what this means. There's so much going on about how Hollywood is taking over, NFTs and the decentralized, becoming centralized into these, old school power bases. And, don't get me wrong, the names like CAA and UTA and WME are old school power bases, but they've been along way before NFTs, and they're part of a machination of artist representation and talent representation that spans, probably, when the first cavemen were doing shows, some guy was like, I'm going to book you at this cave, and, I'm going to get 10% of that vig. And so, this is, agents aren't going anywhere. And they should be a very critical part of this process, and you can see the way that they are shaping the future of potentially our positions here as collectors and as creators. And so what they've done here is they've signed a collector. We've talked about this many times on the channel. When you buy certain NFTs, you get the intellectual property rights to that character. We're going to go deep here, guys. So when you get this character, you then have the right to go and make a comic book, go and make a television show. I could go make an indie film based off of Bored Ape Yacht Club, that I purchased, much like Deadheads did. And I showed that video. Deadheads, they incorporated them, just like straight up animated them, and spent a lot of money on an episode that shows clearly you can do this. You can utilize and bring in characters into this your own universe, and in this way, I had some friends coming up from the Upright Citizens Brigade, who did very well on YouTube. They're brothers, and they I think they make like something like $18 million a year on, look at that crazy flag flying around, $18 million a year in YouTube, but they started making, parodies with G.I. Joes and stuff, and so you could do this with your NFTs. And I think it was super powerful, in terms of when I was reading it originally with Vogu, and speaking with, that creator, just kind of talking about well, I could just go start something. And, I think that projects like Loot get made fun of because of its simplicity, but it's also much like these characters, they're a prompt in which to go and do our own thing. If you can do that, if an ecosystem like Bored Ape, this is why it's so powerful, Bored Ape Yacht Club's ecosystem, because they allowed Jenkins to go and get signed by I think it was CA, or was it UTA, and so that character then can go and do books. They're going to do a book, and they're going to go maybe do an animated series. What if you had all 10,000 of your PFPs working in that way? It does beg the question: how does the group succeed? Based upon that. Certainly, I think the price level. If you have something like Jenkins doing being big, you might have more interest in people who want to collect for the reasoning, the rationale to create something. It's something I personally kind of look at in my own collection. I feel like I was like, I could have this character and they could be animated, and it's a very creative endeavor if you set the ecosystem right. And I think that by using your DAO, you can ignite your ecosystem. You can do grants. You can do nouns. And Bored Ape Yacht Club, they began granting to allow people to build upon their existing IP. And we're going to get into a little bit here. So note this owner, OXB1, and very, very popular on Twitter, and so they sign a collector. Now, what does that mean? Okay, this person collects them. They own these rights. And so he's got this super, just the one that's on the top here, he's got this super rare, cool looking mutant ape. And it's BA, it's amazing. And, you can see the books and and novels and potential, TV show, if not just rock album covers with this guy on it. And so by licensing that, you get, revenue, etc. But I think there's something also in this article that's being missed. And we'll find it a little later here. So monetizing the NFT. So the actual ownership of the NFT, being able to put that into shows. I don't know if you could do it drinking a Dos Equis kind of thing. I think Arizona Tea had some issues there with Bored Ape. But here's where we get into the sticky roots of this evolving thing. This is something I noticed too. So this collector's Bored Ape Yacht Club, Mutant Ape Yacht Club, Cool Cats, and Spunks. You haven't heard of Spunks, have you? If you've heard of Spunks, go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell notification, because you're my people and you're paying attention to this space. Spunks is an old school, very artsy, kind of doodly project, but it's just it's nowhere near the level of these. And I noticed that this is a great kind of, I don't want to say they're just slipping it in, but they're kind of pumping up Spunks here. And you'll see if you check out Spunks on OpenSea, it shot up sales. It did nothing for the price, not so much for the price, but it shot up sales quite a few hundred, because a lot of people caught this and were what the hell is Spunks? And it's going to be the next Bored Ape, okay. And so you got a lot of people aping into Spunks big time. And so, but if you like the project, I love the animated parts. They have a couple of them that are animated they're a bit rare. They're 3 to 5 ETH, but they're super cool. And based on the fact that they're such an early project, it's kind of one you might want to think about collecting. No financial advice. So again, joining of CAA who did Jenkins. So UTA did. Oh boy, I'm getting lost in my own thing. So CAA did Jenkins as well as this one. UTA did Larva Labs. Here. So Larva Labs, and they are the creators of CryptoPunks and Meebits. And so you have these agencies who are looking to represent creators and collectors in this space, because collectors become rights holders, and who can have items that they possess and own that can be licensed. And so when you have that, you have also, this is the big need too, you have the assets, and you can certainly have an agent sell those assets, but what about that agent selling you? Now, they can sell you as a creator, as in Larva Labs, who are doing a great deal with the NFL actually, and my buddy Henry, and so they're going to do a massive, like they finally figured out their NFT plans, and they're like, well, if the guys who did CryptoPunks, yeah, we should work with them. And so we were with Larva Labs, and it's going to be a huge thing. Finally bringing the NFL to NFT land. NFL, NFT, come on, there's you're just one letter away. Oh, such a bad joke, but if you're not here for the jokes, please like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. We think that they need guides familiar with the world to help navigate that, and I think that was a very interesting missing factor here. As a collector, as somebody who's in, you guys are in super early. You guys have probably been, I know some of you have been watching this channel, for the couple months that I've been doing this, and thank you. This has been amazing to hear from you, and thank you for the comments and the great compliments. I'm glad you guys are finding value in this and are creating and are making choices based on information that I can help provide with a very specific sort of Hollywood media, traditional media meeting, NFTs and metaverse perspective that I bring. And so they need guides. They need people like you. They need people like you who understand NFTs. It's like how can you build an ecosystem of e-commerce when you've never purchased anything online? It's a really clear argument for the need for people who understand this space within traditional media. And I think it's God, I'm like creating a resume for myself. Although you guys can't afford me. I love the independence, and I love working with an audience authentically. So that would be really challenging, because I've had friends who've gone and worked for, it sounds like amazing jobs, but for big names. But at the end of the day, it's just like, The Simpsons and NFT is going to be amazing. It's going to be fine on its own. It's like, it's going to have its success. And so I think that's what's interesting about this space, guys. There's so much opportunity here that you just have to create. And again, I apologize. I always say, like, I keep missing the fact that I need to be bringing my friends onto this. I just found out, one today has been working on an amazing project, working his indie film into this space, and is doing so in a very, very smart way. And so we'll look to bring him onto the channel as well. But it's, as we're talking on these boards, like I run all these boards, and as we're talking to each other, a lot of people are very critical. Honestly, a lot of people are just like, oh, that's stupid. That's not gonna work. We had people very early on who were just poo-pooing NFTs as an ability to access media. And for me, it was just so clear. I think maybe Mark Cuban helped elucidate that for me. In his perspective of NFTs being a ticket. And I was like, well, NFTs, if they're a ticket, they can give you a seat in a real life event. They can give you a movie. They can unlock a locker of anything. And so what we put in that locker is up to us as creators, and how to gamify things, and how to create for an audience. And as I'm saying these days, how are you gonna make me rich? How are you gonna make it entertaining? How are you gonna do all these great things as NFT? Because I've been talking to a lot of creators as well, and they pitch me these things. They're like, hey, yeah, like I want to do this thing, and like they've thought about it a lot, honestly. Like these are people who are really smart people who've get done so well in this space. They probably got some art blocks they're sitting on. They've gotten a lot of they've collected a lot, and they're looking to create their own, because they know even if you're selling at 0.06 Ethereum as your initial offering, as your mint, that's $2 million, guys, that you're raking in one day, ostensibly. If you're doing the mints right, and you've worked up your Discord to a fervor, that's that's honestly, that's probably a lot better than any NFT you're going to buy. And that's why I push, potentially, you guys going out there and running and creating your own things. But if you didn't want to create your own things, but you wanted access to blue chip NFTs, there's mutant cats. There's, certain there's certain ones that you can get into fractionally. The mutant cats, for instance, tie right into cool cats. And so they sort of ride on the coattails of an existing blue chip and offer what I think is great, an accessibility to a community that wants to participate in that ecosystem, and especially when they have the milk tokens, etc. That's a huge incentive, because that means you're getting passive income, and that's passive income that you can potentially give to holders, like shareholders, to holders of your NFT, if you own those cats. Now, what if Cool Cats goes out of favor? What if something happens? I think that I found this group, the Roaring Leaders, which looks to diversify those holdings in a true mutual fund that spreads across the blue chips. So they have a Bored Ape Yacht Club. They have a Mutant Ape Yacht Club. They have a Squiggle from Art Blocks. They just bought a V-Friends, and that's already worth over $500,000. And so they use their mint to buy these. I think, in a sense, to be fair, they may have actually pocketed some of it, some of the money, and they actually owned. I feel like a lot of them owned those before, and they were sort of pooling it into the center. But what does that do? That gives an immediate $500 baseline. If you do $500,000 divided by 10,000, I guess that's only $10, $50. So that gives you at least a baseline of value for your NFT. And so if you buy two, it's just like, you get 1/5,000th of a Bored Ape Yacht Club, and a Cool Cats, and a Art Block Squiggle, and whatever else they buy. And it was just released, I think it was just earlier today, listing on the AMA. They're going to go after a CryptoPunk, and they're strategizing how to do it now. They probably got the money, to be honest, through that mint, and they're just looking and strategizing how to get it, and how to get it for a good price. They're led, and this is the cool thing, it's like fractionalization with ownership of an NFT that you can sort of floss. And that's I think the cool part is fractional ownership to me seemed a bit lame because especially there was the Shark DAO and nouns that, if you bought into the Shark DAO, then you would get fractional ownership of the nouns that they were buying. Great idea, but like, how do you show that? How do you floss that, and how do you represent that as part of your NFT or collection and or metaverse holdings? And so at least here you have a physical representation. And, it helps that they are also playing with that physical representation. They have so right now you got about 5 days before they drop. So if you want to get in on one, now's not a bad time. There's about 5 days until they do another drop. They're going to call it an assistant, because if you're a roaring lion, you're a success in the business world, and you need an assistant. So they're going to drop you an assistant. They look like cute little guys and gals. And so, but they're also doing deflationary schemes where much like Bored Ape in a sense, Bored Ape, but this is more destructive, and this is something that I talked about with Degens, where you can burn in the collection and destroy NFTs. And I keep thinking about somebody trolled the AMA, and it was kind of clever. They're like, "We're calling from the World Wildlife Federation, and we're hearing you're burning lions." And it was quite funny because the moderator didn't quite know how to answer, because it was just like so out of left field, and he's answering technical questions about like, staking and valuation, and then somebody's like, yeah, are you burning lions? And he's like, well, yeah, we're burning the lions, but we're sending them to an address. And he's like, wait, are you trolling me? Clever community, and that's what's fun about I think the Roaring Lions, Roaring Leaders, and something that a reason that I invested in, because I spent some time in the Discord, and a very level-headed group. It wasn't like a rah-rah sort of, bro out, typical sort of, feel in the Discords, but it was just like a level-headed, like, hey, this is, what we're investing in a sense. I keep saying investing. Like, this is what the project is about, and it's about creating a collection that you have fractional ownership in. Now, these elixirs will create even more rarities within your collection, and so you have sort of a basic lion, and then like if you add elixirs to it, then you can have like crazy wings or something. It'll sort of give you randomized rerolls of your PFP, and so it was a cool way of like sort of making them even more and more rare. I'll show you the results of which. I bring this up because the sales of which create a very highly sought after class of ostensibly they got quite a few one of ones within that, and so it's kind of a nice thing, because if you buy two off the floor and you sort of re-roll a trait, and it becomes like a one of one, or a super rare, 1 of 20 or something like that, the value of your lion or your roaring leader is increased incredibly. So what is Leaders Fund? So these are the the types of things on there that they hold: the Bear Area, Mutant Ape, Chrome Squiggle, Cool Cat. Just that alone, plus the V Friends, you're up over 500,000. And so, just in terms of having a baseline value for a project, I think is very interesting. It creates a support to a floor based upon that valuation. And so, ostensibly with Bay Area, my gosh, I'm getting so tired, guys. I've been working so hard on these shoots, and it's getting hotter. I don't know if you guys are in LA. What's up? Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, because I'm on your timeline here. But it's been hot lately, and I'm like sweating. So this has, Nerd Minter is ostensibly the person who's doing the buying and selling. She's self-proclaimed. I don't want to call her self-proclaimed, like she's, she thinks she's fabulous, but like, everyone keeps calling her the one that knows how to flip well. And I don't know how this pays off, because I have questions of, well, at what point do you sell? I wouldn't sell a Bored Ape. I wouldn't sell a Cool Cat, because you're getting the token drops from them. And so they're trying to understand how exactly they're going to do distributions. Frankly, in the AMA, there's a lot of questions about how those distributions go. And they're hoping to build and build and build. And at this stage, they just want to... The bet here is that they're going to build a large collection, and that they're going to get a lot of publicity for doing so. There is, mind you, again, this is maybe a good time, not financial advice, but I know that BitBoy Crypto is going to do a show mentioning them and do a segment on them, so that might bring a lot of people into the space. I think I show you a little bit in the sales here that DCL Blogger has also mentioned them, and a couple of other influencers. DCL is so underrated, man. He's such a smart dude, but I don't know if people just don't follow him enough or what have you, but he's such a smart dude. Go follow DCL Blogger if you want to learn more about NFTs, and especially NFTs in the metaverse. And so, like, just following along with, this team, here we go into their OpenSea. And so it's kind of struggling right now with the 0.1, and that is, again, a very inexpensive place to get in. And it's held that, let me show you. It's kind of been holding that level. And so I think that's what's interesting is it was released, and then there's some speculation. There's not a lot of hype, per se on it, because not too many people have really covered it. And so the sales, they're significant even at these levels. I mean, you're looking at a couple hundred, throughout the last couple weeks, and you can see the price really starting to solidify a floor of around 0.1. And just started to escalate off of it. So it's right now the floor, but the average, as you can see, has been kind of going up and up and up. The average is about to shoot up like crazy. So in terms of a chart, you're going to see it moon. And I'm going to show you why. You're going to see it moon because of this rarity elixir thing. And so that has caused the average sale to go through the roof. The average sale is now going to be approaching maybe 1 to 2 ETH. And so that's going to drag, ostensibly, when BitBoy Crypto does this, you're going to see a graph that goes blah, 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 and then goes straight up. And people are going, what? I must get in on that, and start eating up the floor. The floor is pretty thin. I mean, that's the thing. To get to 1.1 is or 1.2 is it's just only a couple. So it's pretty spread through at this point. So that floor can get eaten up really quick. Here you can see some recent sales: 2.2, 1. 0.7. So these aren't at the floor. These aren't 0.1s. These are ones, close to 0.85. And you can see the traits on these are a bit rare, like the gold. Another 1, 0.85. These traits are part of the elixir, I believe, are part of the elixir reroll. And so they're given oh gosh, I changed the skin to gold. Amazing. And so you can create these ultra rare roaring leaders through this process. And that has pushed the average sale price. It's not being recognized yet because this is happening today. This is why I do this live, guys. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell notification now, because if you're watching this in 5 days after those assistants have dropped and after BitBoy Crypto has talked about this, the chart is going to look crazy, and you're going to be dealing with a floor that is following this crazy chart that I'm giving you a peek at here. 10. So it's just these are 1s, 4s. So these are sales that are just beyond the floor. And so let me show you some of the roaring sales. I do this thing called whale tracker. I don't know if you guys do this. And so let me show you quickly. See, the elixirs went live 2 days ago. And if you buy, you have to buy 2, and if you burn 1, you get an elixir, and then you apply that elixir to your the NFT you want to change, and then voila, you get it. So NFT Llama has bought in at 11. DCL Blogger mentioned it. And so, I guess I caught on this project from the Discords, I believe, because I got this so very early on. It seemed nobody was talking about this, and I think everyone's searching right now for how to get the passive income. And here's the NFT whale alert. So NFT whale alert is a fun one to follow, just because you see all of the ones that get sold that outpace the regular market. So you have a lot of tens of thousands of dollars of sales because they leveraged the elixir, especially recently here. So you got a few of them coming out. So that's going to cause this average sale to go through the roof. So it's going to have this huge, looking like it's mooning. BitBoy Crypto is going to talk about it. He's going to show the chart, and people are going to lose their minds. And they're going to be like, oh my gosh, I got to get this. And they're going to get there, and they're going to see a floor price that is going to get chomped up, because it's going to go from just under 0.1, and it's going to go really fast, up to 1.5, up to 2, because it's already staggered. It's not there's not a lot of downward pressure here. this project has been sort of played with a bit, enough to create the staggering of a floor, and let's check it out. But when they do this, maybe when they do the assistant drop, we'll take another look at it. But this isn't one you really don't want to flip, because the idea is to hold on and to have access to the passive income. And so that's kind of, I feel like that's kind of what I want to talk about today. I got excited, and I felt like there's more to talk about, but because there is in a sense with this project and how it progresses. I'm going to be updating you guys because I think it's an interesting take on the passive income, because it's diversifying itself across blue chips, and we're all very certain that blue chips are going to continue to climb, because as more capital comes in here, they're going to want sure things. They're going to want things that they know is worth money, and that they know can make them even more rich. And so does it answer our question, how are you going to make me rich, roaring leaders? Well, we're going to be investing and acquiring a collection, and from that collection we're going to be able to get some passive income, and essentially some, I don't know how they're going to sell it off. They're still looking at how they want to actuate that, but I will say that their efforts currently are in the growth stage, and they would just want to acquire a huge collection, get people like BitBoy to talk about this, get big influencers to talk about it, so that they can have notoriety as the first NFT mutual fund, because of the way that they're approaching the diversity of the acquisitions within the blue chip strata. And if they get a CryptoPunk, you're going to see headlines. They're going to want to put some extra money into promoting that, because then, it feels kind of cool. Like, already I've been wanting to be a Bored Ape Yacht Club owner for a long time, and I sort of priced myself out around 2 ETH. I was just like looking at them. I'm like, oh, this one doesn't look quite cool enough, and it was tough, trying to pick the one that I felt interested me, and by the time I thought about it for like a couple of days, the price was through the roof. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and also put comments down below in terms of what you guys are looking at in this space of passive income, because I think it's obviously that we keep talking about this with the Bears, the Lux, and the like of the projects that everyone is searching for right now is the ones that have DeFi in mind, but they do have to skirt around the limitations that DeFi equates to regulation. And so you're going beyond just the holding of a collectible. You're going into securities and the like, and so that becomes dangerous territory. But there's a lot of projects who've got it already figured out, and a lot more are gonna as well. I keep mentioning, looking back at Vogu and Animatus, and if you went back, like I'd mentioned, to go into Deadheads, I think you're up like 5x at this point. Because they're onto the intellectual property end of things, and all they're missing is that DeFi component, and a lot of them are working towards that right now. And I think that because they have such a great community, and they have such an entrenched part of our world of NFTs, that when they announce, it's gonna skyrocket. And so we'll let them do their little drops. They got Vogu's coming out with some mutts soon. There's their little companions they've been working on for a really long time, but their roadmap is long, and so all this stuff can't happen in a day. But I think that Roaring Leaders has been working for a while on trying to understand what this is, and how to emulate NFT 20 and NFT X in its fractional ownership, but in a way that allows you to showcase a rare NFT on its own. And so I think it makes it far more exciting and interesting to me. You guys will see the Roaring Lion up there, and I've spoken way too long on this, but I think it's such an important thing. I need somebody to cut these up into little things, and and then make me seem way funnier, like Alex Becker. Like, you know, you can tell, like, it's just like, you know, he's like, I'm going to tell a funny joke here. And then, like, smash cut because, like, he was drinking coffee or choking or doing something stupid like I do. When I do this live, and I do this live, guys, because this stuff is it's so fast moving. And I want you guys to have the information as it goes, as I get text, as, you know, the world evolves. And I want you guys to be able to capture these because in the next couple of days, these opportunities are gone, and or maybe they just reset. You know, so do your own due diligence. This isn't financial advice at all, but I hope you guys the best, and